Okay. Hi, Raminda. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Silent Voice. Another episode, another topic. Uh, yeah, Raminda, do you want to talk about today's topic? What we are going to discuss?
Hi everyone, I'm really happy that we are here now. And our topic today will be about the not being your voice in the relationship. And we will talk how it can show up, what are the main obstacles when people don't express themselves, and also maybe we will touch a little bit how to solve this problem from the perspective of like couple romantic relationship.
Yes. So it's about communication, right?
Yes, usually about communication because when you cannot be your voice in a relationship, it's about communication, but not always about like that I'm not speaking, but why I'm shutting myself off in a communication because communication is like one of the elephant in a relationship, what is the most important, and because this is the silent voice, we are talking how it's important to speak, to tell your story to others. So if you don't have that communication in a relationship, it can be the main thing, like when you look in general about the open communication, about the communication between partners is the main reason why a relationship won't stay long and why we are experiencing divorces.
Yes. So there is what I understood from different relationship communication, how it happens is from my experience, like when I'm shutting down, when I'm not talking about something. Maybe it resonates with you, probably be when we feel like we are not being heard, or maybe we feel judged, and maybe my feelings, my words are not coming out the way I expected to come out, like what you perceive, let's say, for example, right now, what we are talking about communication. So if I'm not able to articulate what I mean, and uh, the person who is listening to me is going to perceive differently. So it's the perceptions too, and how we articulate our feelings or emotions using words. And if I'm not able to make my partner not able to understand myself, then probably I'll be shutting down myself, because I feel like every time I say something, my partner is not listening, actually. Even though my partner is saying that I understand, uh, the words, but the context behind it or the emotions behind it, if my partner not able to understand it, then it's about like how I would feel being not heard, even though my partner is hearing it but not able to understand it, the actual meaning behind it. So it's about not able to uh, send the message across.
Yes, I agree
Also
about
getting that
that.
validation back, that my partner understood. If I get that validation back, then probably we'll understand that, okay, we are on the same page.
Yes, I agree about that. And of course, first in a relationship, everybody needs to start from themselves. I really like your perspective that that we learn also that we are marrying not person, we are marrying the family. What it means? It means the way in the family that person was heard, how he could express himself. Because the main reason why people are not expressing themselves in a relationship is because, as you mentioned, I'm feeling judged. I'm afraid to express my emotions because there is no emotional validation. and so on and so on. But in general, it's like I cannot express myself because like I cannot understand it if my partner correctly understood me and if we are at the same page. And
Mm.
it's coming from the family that you are grown. If all as a child you always was shut down when you are expressing your, for example, emotions, if you did something wrong and then you was judged, or you was judged for the choices what you do in your life at your family are not accepted, there is no possibility that you are coming in a relationship and you just started to be open. There will be that inner fear where you need to face to your shadows, work with yourself, and then understand that I feel safe. So if we look in a relationship, of course, first of all, it's starting from me, but the second part is the partner, because how that experiences can be reshaped by different experiences. So
Yes.
if I start to express myself and I experience the same, like I'm judged, I cannot validate my emotions. At the same time, my partner don't understand the meaning what I'm expressing, and I understood in a different way, and then we are going to the different roads by thinking that, or making some kind of idea that we are going on the same, but we are at the different. But what is happening by this experience? You think that this is normal communication because this is what I bring from my last family, my experience. This is what I'm getting in a relationship, so it's normal. We just having fights or we don't have communication because my parents don't have communication, my siblings don't have, my friends like they are telling that they are talking something, but in general there is nothing. And by your environment, you think that it's normal. So it's always two sides. Of course, first of all, understand where you are coming from. And second part is how your partner teach you to communicate with him.
Yeah. And it's necessary to validate each other, what we both are talking to. Like if we're not validating this now, that this conversation, like we are validating each other, that what you are saying, what I'm saying, whether we are agreeing or disagreeing, understanding that context. So it's necessary to have that. It's active listening doesn't mean that just actively listening, but to be in that moment, in that emotion, in that context, so that person, both people, partners, they can understand each other, where that message is coming from, what is the context, and so that both perceive the message correctly.
Yes, I agree, but this is also what is learned at the childhood. If you go to the therapy right now and you ask therapists how to talk like with maybe children, teenagers, with I don't have a communication, I'm telling them one thing and they are doing other thing, it's the same. All the therapists would tell you when you express your needs or your ask for your children, ask them how they that understood that. This is learned in the family also. So what is happening if I always got a task from my parents, for example, do this, and that. And I know by my parents maybe that this week is, for example, some kind of celebration. So my parent won't look, will I do that or not? But next week, I see that my parent is stressful. So then I will do those tasks that I won't get punished. So it's not about how I understand. This is what is happening in the relationship too. It's like if you don't validate each other, but in general, if I understand the task, but I make a decision not by words, not by ask, but by other person behavior, because this is what I learn in the family. This is what also coming in a relationship. It means that I listen, I understand, but I will do just after some kind of the behavior. So it means, okay, I know, like it's also very, very related what the experiences you have. I know that when my mom is angry, I need to clean up her house. So I know when my wife is angry, I have to bring flowers. This is very similar, despite the fact that my wife is asking, "Oh, you never bought me flowers." I'm hearing, but subconsciously stuck that, oh, this what I can bring when my wife is angry, because this will make her happy. Not to work. It's learned from the family not to work every day and not to invest, not to hear at the moment, but to look, oh, this is what I heard, but I'm not listening attention. I'm not I'm not making a main thing about this by thinking this is what my person values, this is what he needs, this is what makes him happy. But I learn I have to make happy person just when he is angry, or just when he is upset, or just when I did something wrong.
Yeah, it's learned behavior from childhood experience, how our relationship with our siblings, our parents, and the environment. I think when a new person comes into our life, and what we have learned, we try to replay those same behaviors, but the new person doesn't have that same context, same experiences. So that is where all the conflicts comes with marriage or any kind of romantic relationship is now you have to learn differently from both sides. It's both sides. Like it's interesting because looking back my how I grew up, my childhood, my learnings, uh, and how I listen or others listen, other react to what I say or what I ask for is totally different because I grew up a big family and I'm the with seven siblings and I'm the bottom third. So nobody values my asks, but I have to respect others, all other who are above me. So it's like, okay, I'm always taking orders from others, always taking advice from others. Uh, but when it comes to me, when I'm saying nobody is there to listen because they are the elders one, then that is what it, how it become like now in my personal relationship with my partner. It's I wanted to change that. Like I'm not going to be behaving the same way that I used to get treated by my elders. So that dynamic has to change. It's not about it's equal partnership in a relationship. It's not nobody is elder because of the age or anything, but it's about the relationship. If both partner can feel them equal, regardless of the age or whatever other way you wanted to see that difference, I think that is where the conflict is.
Yes, that's why open communication should start from the listening about the family where that person is coming from. What kind of experiences he was going through, what his behavior, because we are going through the same circles. Like ups and downs are based on the same, triggers are based on the same. We are bringing that in our life on subconsciously. Of course, when we started to work with the therapy or coaches, we are aware about that, but it doesn't mean that when trigger will come, we won't react the same. We just learning next to other person who is coming in a relationship. Okay, we can react differently. Okay, this is the behavior that is not accepted. Or okay, this is how it should be, like this is how he learned from his family to communicate. So active relationships should start from understanding from where the person is coming, what is his pattern, what is his experience, how his
Yeah.
family manage conflicts, and all this. If you are just sharing your beautiful memories about childhood, it won't help you to create the open communication in a relationship. We can speak about all, like you need to stay like this, you need to look at the eyes, you need to formulate the sentence like this. But I know from my clients that like One of my clients told me, I know when she starts the sentence like this, I'm like, it's the end. I know that it's gonna be a conflict, because he already know that it means that she's unhappy. That's why she's starting to make a sentence in the right position, like, I need to talk with you about this because you are making me feel like this. All the books are written like that. And when you recognize, because this is not working with your inner self, this is learning, and you using your knowledge just when you have a problem, not in a natural conversation, but when it's usually happening when you need to ask something. Then you, oh, how I have to ask. Like, ask, it does not mean that I want I don't know, shoes, but ask like, I want this person to behave differently. I know that this is where is our fights coming from. So now I will try to make it in a different sentence. It's not going to work if you don't look at the root of the family, at the root of the patterns that that person is having, and not solve, first of all, inside of you by recognizing, and then by experience with the other partner.
Yeah, I think there is a another factor comes into picture is the power struggle between the two partners, like who is dominating the other person. Uh, it's I think that is normal, but it shouldn't show up for any kind of when both partners are equally having conversations or having a communication. Of course, there is a uh, like between two partners, one would be leading, one would be following, or other would be leading. That is there. There is a powers, but that power imbalance shouldn't be the cause for this manipulation or anything. Like, because if I'm asking my partner, let's say that I feel that I respect my partner. I listen to my partner because of fear that if I don't do this, I'll be in trouble. Then I have to do a lot of things to make her happy. Then all those thoughts when it's coming, the communication is not going to be transparent. Communication, then I'll be more silent to ask for anything because now I'm afraid that how my partner is going to react and behave. Then I'll be shutting down because I'm not able to express my real feelings and emotions. Same with, I mean, it's not just about men, but same with the female, I think.
Yes, but this is your learned pattern that you just expressed by, my siblings are higher, so like if I
Yeah.
communicate about something what I don't like I got a punishment. But the power of in a conversation, what it's about. First of all, is like man physical power.
Uh-huh.
When man is seeing that he is, for example, in argument getting low, he's starting to, to go in front very strongly. What other person, like what woman would be naturally, she will walk back, and because the fear is coming. And this is the behavior where I'm starting to control the conversation. And it could be very small, like body language that will shows, like, and you can see that, like the arms getting stronger, like these muscles are intense, like you see the anger of person because he cannot win, for example, discussion on or conflict. And this is when the power is coming not from active communication and at least communication, but by taking power because I'm stronger. What usually happens on the woman's side, she is going in the victim mindset. I'm not telling that always. Sometimes women, like, they are shift. Women's also sometimes using aggression by taking your stuff and trying to throw into your face, like by physical influence. The other thing is going into the victim when I'm starting to cry. I'm not telling that to express emotions is wrong, but when you use it to influence the other person to make different decision and change the conversation, because you see that, like I'm losing the power, what I can do, I just can cry and tell that you don't love me and absolutely change the conversation. This is now I'm taking the power of control.
Yeah.
Yes, the other thing, what is very popular is silent treatment. when I'm shutting down and I'm not talking with you, like, because what is about silent treatment? I want you to change the opinion because I think that I'm right. I don't have arguments, but if I be quiet, you will come to me. And it's also in the man and in a woman position happening the same. And there are others type of manipulations, for example, like in a families where is children, like putting the energy on the children when I'm using others or using parents, insulting by bringing some person who I know that you don't like. For example, I know that you don't like your brother, like you think that he's narcissistic, behaving very bad, and now I'm telling you, you are behaving like your brother now. You know, there are a lot of small
Influence.
points.
Yeah.
Yes, when you are seeing that you can, like, you're not accepting that other person is criticizing you, you are not accepting your mistakes, you don't want to look at the situation differently, and then you are shifting power, not with the topic that you are talking, but from the other sources.
Yeah, it's mostly like in that communication, like in that conversation, see, if one person, maybe both sides, somehow both are trying to prove right, then the defense mechanism come into picture, and both try to tell that I'm right, and the then there is a conflict. So
Yes.
when there is no active listening, there is no empathy, there is not being able to mindful about each other's emotions or not have respect for each other, then both goes into that defensive mechanism, and that is where the conflict starts.
Yes, and also, like by this, what I'm just experienced, everybody like go when one person is going through the strong
Yeah.
emotion, one or other, as you said, defensive mechanism will come up. But during the conversations, you can recognize, okay, this is what's happening. What my partner is going through a strong emotions. It
Mhm.
means that I don't have to change my opinion. Just we have to go to the same topic after a while. Usually it's helping, like when we will relax a little bit, we'll think about the topic and bring it when there is no so much emotions. Because during the emotions is going through a lot of insulting, like even physical abuse, you can provoke other partner. I'm not telling that it's like acceptable, but in general, if you know that your partner managing anger very badly, usually to provoke the conflict and not stop it before your partner is starting to be abusive, because first of all, he will try to defend and not to hit, but he will try to control himself. But if you going through cross that line, then of course he will become abusive. I'm not saying that abuse is acceptable, but I'm telling that you have to know your partner. And
Yes.
usually, what is happening, like what in a couple, if you see that one person is always like triggering by wanting be in that victim mindset, by accepting the abuse, and then like it's a lot of shift. If you look deeply, there is always two partners who didn't look at their behavior, how they learn. Because if you look at them, usually victims of some kind of abuse, not 100%, definitely not 100%, it's about 60% of them, they experience some kind of abuse at their childhood. Some
Mm.
kind is they saw that their mother was abused, they saw that maybe their aunt or neighborhood was abused, and this is the behavior that they saw. After that, they understood that it's like a normal, this is the way it behaves. It's like also very subconsciously. And then I'm provoking because I know that there will be abuse, and now I will get support. As an example, we all learn when we will get the most love from our parents. You as a from like big family, you know what should happen, that your mother will put all the attention to you. I'm from my family. I know when I'm sick, I will get 100% of my parents' attention. There won't be sister, there won't be work, they will be 24/7 with me. So I know that I'm feeling sick when I want to be loved. And I really need to work with myself. I'm feeling bad because I need attention, or I truly feel bad because this is also a very strong imprint into my brain. Because you have to understand that during my age, from 4 till 12, 6 months, I was at home or at hospital. So my need of parents' love was so strong that I was so sick that I would get that attention. Like
Mhm.
it was my time with my parents. It was when I'm getting attention. And this is what is happening during the childhood, how I learned that I will be loved. For example, others learn that you are loved when you get gifts, when you have a birthday party. It means that I need a big celebration because I know that then my husband will think about me and bring me the biggest gift because this is my understanding about love. So it's very different with the different personalities, and you have to understand every person. That's why open communication should start by knowing how the child grow up. What is the main topics that he is remembering? How it's going on. So like open communication should start from the beginning of the relationship when you start to know each other and you start to understand the patterns of the behavior.
Yeah, and at the same time, both partners should openly talk about those and understand each other. I think that is important because knowing the patterns is and not telling, let's say, if I'm not telling my partner about the patterns, then I'm making an assumption. It could be false. It could be a judgment. It could be pure judgment, my perceptions. But is that pattern really validate that with the partner? Then both can work towards it. Okay, if I'm seeing this pattern in me, so now I'm aware and my partner is aware that these are my patterns. And if both can work towards that to fix that pattern, like if that pattern is really bad pattern for the relationship, that if I work with my partner to change that behavior rather than continue doing that because that is what the triggering with my partner. So if it has to be addressed, it has to be addressed by both. So that way both knows and without judgment or without being triggered, then both can talk about it. See, I was telling you you are doing the same thing again. I told you before that it's not about that uh like these are like what you said, that childhood patterns, because we know this now. If you are going to feel sick when you need attention from your partner, that's not going to be healthy. Like you are going to make yourself sick, although like in manifesting yourself like to get sick, and you are going to get sick by for some reason, and it's not going to be good for not for both the partners, right? And
Yes, but I want to point one thing. This is the pattern for person, and it's really hard to understand them. You really
yeah.
need to work with someone. But like if you don't want to work with the coach, everyone who is listening, or with a therapist, you need to understand how you feel when you feel the biggest love from your mother, and think if you are repeating that in your relationship, romantic relationship, the way your everybody around you was managing conflicts, what was the behavior of the parents, and not just parents but also like neighborhoods, all the adults that you saw. I think this is, and how when even how your mother or father was feeling that he's loved, how your like close caregivers showed love to other adults. It's also very important. But what I'm saying about, for example, the sickness, it's first of all, when I understand that, It's an alarm for myself, because what it means that I don't feel loved in a relationship. And this is a red light. Okay, something is wrong. Like, this is how it's wrong. How I'm not expressing, or I'm not heard, like from the partner, my needs. So it's work with myself then again. So I need to express better, or I need to change something, like as a partner in my relationship, because I'm not loved. Because if I recognize during the relationship when I'm 34 that I 6 months are sick, it's definitely not a partnership for me to be with, because like it doesn't change. I cannot behave this way. And I saw that a lot when I got my first daughter was born, and I was going to the swimming pool with her with other mothers. There was a couple of women who every 3 months was going to the hospital by full body exhausted. So this is how they were not here. They had too much responsibility. When there was no children, it was manageable. When there is children, it's not manageable because they cannot handle that. And it's a very red spot in a relationship, because this is one of the learning what we learn when we are children, that when we are sick, absolutely all the healthy minds and parents will get all the attention to the child. And subconsciously this is what is it's like in our brains, in our experiences. So this is, like, I would say, at your lowest in a relationship, this can come up.
Yeah, no, that is very true. I think it's just one example what you are giving you based on your experiences, but there are patterns that is associated with our childhood, definitely. Your caretaker, your parents, your siblings, or your relatives, whoever is taking care of. I think we learn those behaviors from childhood. Like if you notice, like when the children, like when they are at a very early stage, they cry. When they cry, we pick them up. Then they get quiet. So
Yes.
because the baby get attention and they get used to that,
Yes,
and
but
it's just a
baby's
pattern.
cry is not always pain. Sometimes it's anger.
Yeah, there could be anything. There could be
Yes,
any kind of
because when
emotion.
you
Yeah.
like, I want to change, because everybody would understand that this is like, from example that I showed, like to be in a victim mindset, but not always. If you bring a toy from a kid like 2 or 3 months who is very curious, he will scream at you, not from a pain, but from anger.
Yeah.
So crying of the children, it's also the same land. And what you are doing again, you are giving it to the child, and it's also learned behavior.
Yes. Yeah, these are all psychologically imprinted in our brain. I think both partners should be aware of their behaviors if they can, if they work on themselves. But if there is something that both partners are fighting most of the time, having conflicts, and not able to resolve those conflicts by themselves, I think that's the time to go seek for professional help. I think this is very important because not all these, I didn't know the depth of our behavior until I get to know about myself through this coaching, through this learning. Uh, Otherwise, it's not easy to understand ourselves because it has to be connected by storytelling, by telling our childhood experiences to the therapist or coach, so they would be able to connect the dots and show us the perspective of how my behaviors are tied to my childhood patterns. Once I'm aware of it, then I would be able to understand when and how I'm behaving the same way with my partner, because we are some way we try to see our partner like parents or any other relatives like who we are closely attached from childhood. We try to find that love affection from our partner. It's natural. That is why people say like, okay, like either you are a daddy's girl or mama's boy. It's not just a saying, it's a psychologically that is how girls are more attached to dads, and the boys are more attached to moms. It's a natural affection from childhood. And when we grow up being adult and being in a relationship, we kind of try to mimic those same patterns and behaviors. That is what's the naturally it happens.
I would disagree about that. If we look from the relationship perspective,
Uh-huh.
like looking how dad is treating mother will teach the son how to behave with a woman, and will teach the daughter how man should treat her.
Yeah. Oh,
So it's like
right.
like, and also on the other side, what is the love that mom is and respect that mom is taking from the husband? Like, we, by the relationship, we are teaching children how to behave. It's not like mummies, but like what is happening? As a boy, as a man, will treat my mom, will try, like, this is the first relationship that I have, or my sister, the way my dad is treating. And
Yeah,
also opposite, like this is with the sibling, this is the first relationship that we are having. And no matter how many fights you are having, you're still living in the same room till in the same house till you go to the university, or even stay after that. So this is where siblings are like making a lot of impact in our life too,
yes,
because they are testing this, and even highlighting some kind of behaviors with us. So if it's a couple, usually in a family like brother and sister, this is the first relationship that we are trying from the environment that we are having. And we will try different things, and we will annoy our sibling to the highlight every time, especially during the childhood, because we will try the same patterns what parents did with us.
yeah,
So for example, if the boy is older than the sister, and then he's seeing like that he's a power, as you mentioned, because I'm older, I'm stronger physically, so I will try what adults are doing to me. And it's not always a dad. Sometimes it's a mom. It's my mom, like bullying me. I will try to bully my sister because she's weaker. If my dad is like beating me, I will try to beat my sister because she's younger. And even if it's sister and sister, brother and brother, it will be the same. Usually, the eldest like sibling who is physically stronger, intellectually also growed more and understanding more, he will uh, try all the bad behaviors on his younger sibling. It's always because this is just where they can have a control, and this is the first relationship what they are experiencing. And
yeah,
the younger, if he will have, like, it's going by the steps, and you will see the younger will try those behaviors on the younger siblings, or at the school or kindergarten, where he sees that these are weaker, one or other way weaker personalities, that I can try, especially if a child is um, experiences at home psychological, physical, or sometimes and sexual abuse. You will see that he is trying to do the same even at the kindergarten with the younger or weaker children. Because I really clearly remember when one of my parents' close circle children, the only thing what he was playing was having sex. It shows a lot about the parents' behavior in the house, because this is the only game that he could play. So, and he would try to do that with all the weaker personalities around him, with all the children. he would never behave this way with anyone else. So you can recognize some kind of behavior or abuse what is coming from the family by looking how the person is behaving with a younger or weaker emotionally, physically other child.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I agree to that side of this uh, equation too. The relationship, how we see our dad treating our mom, and how when I will have partner, I learn those behaviors, how my dad was treating my mom. It's a learned behavior. And if the way I behave that like what I have seen my dad behaving to my mom, if I do that and this new partner, it doesn't work, like there will be, of course, it's not what I learned from my parents is not 100% perfect. And we don't know what is perfect or what is right, because the new person might have a different experiences from childhood. Now if I'm going to apply those patterns, it's not going to work. Then that is where all the conflicts is about. Uh, a partnership like with a romantic partner is that person is coming from a whole different experience, whole different growing up with society or whatever that environment that person is grew up, and that is where the most of the conflict in the relationship is. So it's important to learn about those behaviors.
Yes, and I want to go to the second step. Step it's your first, second, or third relationship with other partner, like longer relationship, not the short term, but the long term. Because as I mentioned, you bring something from the family, and then you're starting to do that with other partner, and then you get some kind of outcome, but absolutely change your personality and your like perspective. For example, if your parents never you never saw them shouting at each other, and then you are coming in a relationship where your partner is shouting on you, this may make you shut up or get angry. So then this experience, especially if it's like 2, 3, 5, or even more years, this is what you are learning that relationship should be, because you recognize, okay, this is not how it works. Like it's not like you understanding, because less percent of us starting a relationship when we understand ourselves and work with our childhood traumas. Usually we're starting relationship quite young, about 20 years. So we definitely didn't do this job. But what we are jumping in a relationship, we are seeing the different pattern that we're thinking, okay, maybe it's not the way I imagine, but this is the way how it's working. And then after this relationship, you are coming to other relationship, and you was thinking that, okay, this is how it works. Now I will try not to do this, or that to make this person happy or to make this relationship work. And again, it's different person with different experience, with different behaviors, with different understanding what love is, what like fight is, what communication is, what hobby is. And you're trying then to project by solving some problem if you find in the previous relationship, to solve that problem with the other person. This is absolutely not right, because you are now thinking, okay, now I learned the lesson. Usually this is what I hear. Now I learned the lesson. I just want to I just want now to know, for example, how to not be trapped in the manipulation, or how to communicate, because that person was shouting. And now you're seeing that it's not a shouting, it's a silent treatment. And like you learn everything how to behave when someone is shouting on you, and you have seeing absolutely different behavior, or he's trying to or he's starting to cry, and like this is absolutely no experience again. So every time when you're building a relationship, you just start from understanding the personality about all his past experiences. And some people are telling that it's not good to tell about your past relationship, like problems and good things, but this is also teach you some kind of patterns, some kind of understanding of the personality, because we are growing with every relationship, how to behave, how to manage your emotions. Because maybe at my because I had those kind of my clients who at the family in the family had absolutely normal conflicts, and management, like emotion accepting emotions, and very very healthy families. But they having an abuse partner that they didn't expect, that it's even possible that this, like my boyfriend will hit me. For the person, it's like something absolutely new. But this experience will, in the next relationship, will bring to you absolutely different partner, because she at the beginning will be shut up. She will be scared to express herself, because she learned during last 2, 3 or more years that when she will express something, she will be hit. So, like every time, I think it's very important to share your experiences, especially through the relationship with your new partner, a lot. And I think that we can talk about beautiful topics that are very popular about the open communication, but open communication should start from this, from all the traumas, from all the experiences, what you go through, how it was, because this will bring to your partner a very clear understanding. But there is some kind of point, because in some relationships, to share some stories can be a cross line that your partner won't accept you. But you need to think very good if you really want to be with a partner who cannot accept you and all your experiences.
Yeah, I mean, bottom line is to it's about not just about knowing about your partner, but it's knowing more about yourself as a to be aware of. That is why there are people who are going through multiple divorce, multiple relationship, and every time they're coming back saying that I found the same pattern or same X that it was the previous some X. Maybe
I
there
can
will
tell
be
you that there is never the same.
yeah, it
It's
will
not.
be different. It will
It's
be
not
different
possible.
experience. Yeah,
What our brains want to do is to generalize.
yeah.
Like, why to find 10 problems that I have to solve if I can solve just one? Like, like it's let's call all my partners before that they were like psychopath or narcissist. And I was like going through into those relationships because my parents treated me badly. You know, it's a very good explanation for yourself, despite the fact I understand, okay, I feel love when my parents making giving me gifts, and I was asking the gift, and all partners don't give me gifts, and I felt not loved. Then our conflict started to be like this, much more complicated to look at yourself in this way. Or for example, oh, I'm giving my partner silent treatment because this is what I learned from my parents, how the problems were solving. And like, okay, so I need to understand that that partner won't change the uh, his meaning, or he won't apologize me, but I have to stand up and tell that maybe I did wrong. Like, these all behaviors, when you understand, is hurting you, and it's making you to change behavior. First of all, to look at yourself. So of course it's better to generalize, like, okay, in all the relationship that I was like, I was not allowed to express my emotions, so now I will look for emotionally intelligent person who would accept my emotions.
But yeah,
It's
you are
very
going to
good
learn
to
something
generalize.
new, like you thought that okay, past relationship was you learned some lessons and you moved on. Then you didn't work on your patterns, behavior, whatever you learned. Now you added another experience in the past relationship, whatever you learned. Now carry that experience to the second one. Oh, my ex was this, so I was doing this, so this part was working, but this part was not working. Let me do this way. So it will carry over to the next relationship. Again, it's not going to work because that's another person. What worked before, it's not going to work again. So
Yeah, definitely. And then that's why we are always telling that we are looking for our dad or our mother as a partners. The similar they are, the easiest is for us because we don't need to look at our child. We just behave the way we learn at our families. But yes, but in general, it's from all the relationship, you have some experiences.
yeah.
What I want to tell to the audience who are listening, you learn those experiences, you know what you don't want to repeat, but don't think that you don't want to repeat from by finding a different partner now. Because I will like it's always like very example will be tough, but like what my clients are telling, if they are going from the relationship where the partner physically abused them, they are telling, now I will look the man who is not won't abuse me physically. So if I see even with my like in my eye that it could be an abuse, I will cancel that relationship. And what is happening? They are going in a trap, for example, with psychological abuse or sexual abuse with the manipulation, not just rape that we know about this on the street happening, but like with the manipulation or manipulation with the children or disrespecting your identity or other things. So never think that you want repeat one mistake that you did, because it's not one mistake, it's you who you are as a personality. And now you have to understand, okay, I accept the physically abused partner because of what? Because of my experiences, maybe vision, maybe I didn't expect that it's even possible in like this age that someone will abuse me. But you need to understand, okay, so how the first thing is how I would react if I see the similar behavior. Of course, it's good to end the relationship, but at the same time, you need to recognize other person patterns. And if you see that there is no physical abuse, but there are some other patterns, would I accept it? Can we work with that? How we communicate about that? So it's very important, because I know that people want to generalize so much about their relationship, but all the relationship were different. All the personalities were different. They are coming from the different background. You cannot generalize. What you can generalize if you are repeating the same behavior that you brought from your family.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we are almost an hour talking about open communication, effective communication, active listening, mindfulness. All these are in play, and uh, we are getting to the end. Any final thoughts about this topic or in general?
Open communication is very important, and the first stage is active listening. Active listening by understanding that all the stories that your partner is telling you have some meaning for him. Because in general, it won't stuck in our memory if it won't give some kind of meaning about that event. So, with that awareness, every time when you share something with your partners from the memories, it's very important also to be aware what I'm sharing, why I'm sharing, not be obsessed, but just in general. And also understand that, okay, he memorized this because of the experience. And especially in the childhood, that experience was so strong that he's keeping to his adulthood. And this is the story that he's telling for you. So by showing his personality. So because you have to understand that memories won't came up the same with the different people. With one person, I would tell one story. With other person, I will tell other story. And even in a romantic relationship, if you have one relationship and other relationship, you would see what stories you are telling to that partner. And it's because that partner is bringing you that memories because of the experiences or
Yeah.
like that you are having with that partner. So active communication and active listening and open communication is very important by understanding what kind of memories your partner is sharing with you. That these are very important for you to understand your partner behavior.
Yeah, it's both ways. So that way, both partners can get involved in a more attentive conversations, like know each other better emotionally. That emotional bond and learning about each other's pattern is going to help them resolve conflict rather than assuming and perceive differently.
Yes, I agree about that. So, thank you very much for this evening. I hope that for our audience, it was an interesting topic, a little bit different perspective by discussing about open communication. So, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.